Hello everyone, welcome back. Why MongoDB? This is a question which I very frequently hearing from many of my viewers and my colleagues who are working with me in different projects. So many of the people who are, since they are all working on relational databases like Oracle, SQL Server, DB2, etc. They asking like, why should we spend, or should we spend our quality time on learning MongoDB? Is it worth enough? My answer is that as a DBA, as a database administrator, we know that we have to keep learning the new technologies. And I did the same thing in my entire career. I started with the Oracle. I started with Oracle version 7.3.4, and now it is with the version 20 is coming, right? Along with that Oracle, I have spent quality time on learning DB2 and then SQL Server, MySQL, Postgres, etc. And I think it was around 2016 or 2017 when we got first requirement for the converting some of the database of a client to a non-relational database. So at that time, we had spent a quality time on understanding which NoSQL databases can suit for their requirement, and then we came into the conclusion that we will be going to MongoDB, and that project was over, and the database are running quite successfully. Yeah. And so at the time I decided of spending more time on understanding MongoDB, and rather than a developer perspective, I spend time on understanding how a database administrator will be working on MongoDB. That was my primary aim. And if you look at some of the studies on internet, let's have a look on it. So if you go to this website, that is db-engines.com, then ranking, then they have made a comparative study or comparative ranking of the different databases. You have the scores based on as of June 2021, May 2021, and June 2020 extra. So here you can see that the leading RDBMS or leading database, will remove the terminology on RDBMS, rather will just focus on database. So among the all the different databases, you can see that Oracle is the leader, and then followed by MySQL, then Microsoft SQL Server, Postgres, and the fifth position is MongoDB. So if you look at here, all these four, that is Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, Postgres, these are RDBMSs, and MongoDB is a non-relational document oriented database. So which means among the different NoSQL databases, MongoDB is first, and among all the different databases, MongoDB is fifth in position, which means that it makes sense that we spend a quality time on learning MongoDB, so that it can have an added advantage to our career. Let's say we are working on whether we are working on-premise databases or whether we are working on cloud environment, having the knowledge on MongoDB is going to help us. So I would recommend that you guys spend if you have not started, spend time on learning MongoDB. If you have already started, be an expert on MongoDB, and we will see how I can help you on from my whatever the knowledge that I learned or I acquired till now. I always happy to share this knowledge, and how I can help you guys on getting skill developing your skill set on MongoDB. So what are the advantages of MongoDB? The first point is that MongoDB is a non-relational general purpose database, and it is designed for storing huge volume of data. So MongoDB's decision, the design itself is for storing huge volume of data, and MongoDB is a non-relational database. So there are certain terminologies we have to understand. One is a non-relational, second is a general purpose database. So non-relational means it is not having the complexity of joins or relationship, right? So that avoids that complexity of normalization, and which helps in data retrieval fast. So that answers why MongoDB is much faster than most of the relational database systems. Second, it is a general purpose database. Why that general purpose? The reason is that MongoDB takes good features of RDBMS and other NoSQL databases, so that it can be fit for for the maximum use cases. So MongoDB can be used for many use cases which are very specific to NoSQL databases, as well as it can use on certain use cases which commonly or till now an RDBMS was used. So in both cases it is suitable. And another important point to be noted is that MongoDB has a community edition which you can safely use on your production environment. Or else, if you think that you need to have a dedicated support, then you can go ahead with the MongoDB Enterprise Edition. And of course, the Enterprise Edition will have some added advantage than that of the community editions. And MongoDB is designed for developers, so it's more flexible with respect to the development related activities. And MongoDB is available on premises as well as the cloud. It is available on Linux and Windows platforms, and also it is available on the cloud. And then it has a rich set of functions and features. We'll see the common features. The first point is that MongoDB is document oriented. So when I say document oriented, the information on MongoDB is stored in the form of a document, which internally is a collection of keys and values. So in a document, a single document or a single row in a MongoDB table or MongoDB collection can consist of multiple fields and values. So it is easy for us to manage. Second, MongoDB being a non-relational database management system, it is not using the complexity of joins, so the performance is much better. And another important feature of MongoDB is that it is designed with the high availability in mind. So you can enable replication, which consists of a primary server and one or more secondary servers, which means due to some reason, if the primary server is not available, one of the secondary data server will be elected as primary. So you have the high availability disaster recovery mechanism. And another important point is that the scalability. MongoDB supports both vertical scalability as well as a horizontal scalability. In the case of horizontal scalability, MongoDB allows us to split a single collection or a single table in case of an RDBMS following. A single collection can be splitted across multiple servers. So which means you have you can split the data, and when the application is trying to read the data from the collection, MongoDB will be able to redirect the that particular request to the server where the data is residing. That way you can get a faster performance. And another important point is that the dynamic schema. So MongoDB is not following a fixed or rigid schema. We know that in the case of an RDBMS, if you wanted to store the data we have to first create a table, and we have to create the structure of the table. Like, say for example, if you are planning to collect the information about a person, we'll be storing the name, age, and then phone number, email address, etc. So let's say I am collecting the information of a person, which includes his name, age, phone number, and email address. Now let's say the person is having a second phone number, and we thought of collecting that information. In that case, we have to change the structure of the table. We have to add one more column and say that a second phone number. And the third person, when you are selecting, that person may not be having the second phone number. He may be having only one phone number. So which means we have to well in advance we have to design our table, or else later point we have to keep on changing the structure. But in the case of MongoDB is not following any rigid schema, which means you can dynamically change the structure. Say for example, in the previous example, if I'm selecting the same example, the first point is that we don't have to create the collection or the table well in advance. It's a dynamic creation is supported. So which means when you are inserting the records, the first document, at the time the table will get, or the collection will get created. And every document, and each and every document in the collection can have different structure. Say for example, the first document can have only the name, age, email address, and phone number. The second document can contain the name, age, phone number, email address, and secondary phone number. The third one can have name, age, primary email address, secondary email address, and primary phone number and secondary phone number. Like that, the structure can be changed, and that is why we call it a dynamic schema. And as I mentioned earlier, MongoDB is available on premises. On premises itself, you have the community edition, which is free to use, and you have the enterprise edition. You have to pay the license, and also MongoDB is available on cloud. So the cloud solution of the MongoDB is known as MongoDB Atlas, and in turn the cloud solutions are available on AWS, Microsoft Azure, and then Google Public Cloud. So, but you don't have to go to different vendor and create it. Rather, you can log into MongoDB Atlas, and then you can create the database, and while creating the database you can decide on which cloud vendor you wanted to create. The advantage is that you have the to a level of you have the independence of the vendor. Say for example, now you have created on AWS, now you thought of changing to Google Public Cloud. You can do it without much difficulty. And on cloud itself, it supports single or standalone databases, replicated databases, as well as sharded configurations. Okay, so now coming to how I can help you guys. So as I mentioned, I have spent enough time on understanding MongoDB with the from the viewpoint of a database administrator. So I have created a course which will help you to learn the skill set of MongoDB from the administrative viewpoint. So the important topics which I will be covering in this course are installation and configuration of MongoDB on Linux, and then different options during the startup of the MongoDB server, and the database creation and management, and the creation of the collections of the tables, and then CRUD operations, that includes DML and DDL activities with respect to an RDBMS. And then we will be learning how we will be securing MongoDB, how we will be creating the users and the different roles, and then how we will be taking the backup and recovery of the MongoDB, and then we will be covering the replication configuration, that's a high availability configuration, and disaster recovery mechanism, and we will be covering how scalability is implemented with respect to sharding. So which means I have covered almost all the day-to-day based activities as a DBA you will be performing, or you should be knowing with respect to the MongoDB administration. And this course is available on Udemy as well as on my website, that is vaishit.com. You have covered with 30 days of money back guarantee, so you are not going to lose any money if you think that this course is not suitable for you. So I would suggest that if you are interested, please use any of the links below, and then enroll for the course and start learning. And as as always, I am available for answering your questions. I am available through the question answer sessions, or the emails, or the comments. And I think you guys know my phone number. I am available on WhatsApp and Telegram, so we can have creative discussions and clear the doubts. And of course, learning is always giving and taking, right? So definitely I'll be learning from you guys as well. So I would request that that you enroll for this course and start learning, and keep me updated about your progress and how I can improve this course. Okay, so I would again strongly recommend that it's if you have not started, it's a time for you to start learning new database. Let's take MongoDB as a first preference, because it's the leading NoSQL databases, and it has a good market share with respect to the other databases. So definitely it will be a right investment of your time and money on learning MongoDB. So happy learning, and we'll catch up later. Thank you.